Today, we're going to talk about the difference between self-reliance and self-sufficiency when it comes to prepping, and how it just might apply to you. Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene, and today we have a very interesting subject for you. We're going to talk about value-added prepping and when it makes sense to be self-reliant and when it makes more sense to be self-sufficient. So self-sufficient is when you're producing everything yourself and you are not relying at all on outside society to provide anything for you. And self-reliance is when you can take care of yourself, but you are getting things from the outside, but you're stocking it or you're storing it so that you have what you need when you need it, but you are still dependent upon other people or society. So when it comes to value added, there are three things that I think is important to consider. The first one is it easy to grow or to produce? The second is it expensive to purchase? Does it just make so much more sense for you to produce it yourself? And the third, is it available for purchase at all? Can you get the same quality or the variety of whatever it is that you want? So sometimes things just aren't available. So let's talk about this just a little bit. These are eggs from our hens. And would it be cheaper actually to just purchase the eggs? It might be, quite frankly, but there's a couple reasons why we have them. The first is because nothing tastes like these eggs. These chickens are free range. They're very happy. Everything's organic. And they just have a really good life, right? But the flavor is so much better than when you purchase the eggs at the store. Now, the other thing is I don't know when there's going to be eggs available at the store and when there's not. And so we want to be able to produce these eggs on our own property because they're a foundation for us to be able to thrive when something bad happens. So that's my story about the eggs. But recently, and the whole reason why I thought of this video is because I've been reading Caleb Warnock's books, and he has a whole series of them. They're all on self-sufficiency and back kind of about the pioneers and how they were able to survive and some lost secrets that you might gain from them. And he's got a lot of really good tidbits in this book, or in all of these books. But he bashes preppers a little bit, which I'll forgive you for it, Caleb, but, and he'll forgive me for being a prepper. But he has a good point in the fact that some preppers buy all this stuff and they just stick it away and they never use it. And when they go to use it, sometimes it's not good anymore, right? They've stored it too long, or they don't know how to use it, or all kinds of things. So he promotes more of a self-sufficient lifestyle where you are producing a lot more of your own food and the things that you need to be able to survive and to live less expensively. So great, Caleb. In his book, and this one is More Forgotten Skills of Self-Sufficiency, he has these recipes for laundry soap. And there's several of them. There's liquid laundry soap and Tide Boosted and all kinds of good stuff in this book. And when I first read it, I thought, you know what, it would be kind of fun to go ahead and make my own laundry soap because I've done it before. In fact, probably about 10 years ago, I was making my own laundry soap and we were using it, but then I got a high efficiency washing machine and I was told that you can't use it in that. And so I just didn't. I thought, well, maybe you really can. So I went out and I bought all the stuff to make it because that's what I do, right? And then I got to researching it and I decided not to make it. And it's the whole value added prepping thing. My reasoning behind that was even though it's super inexpensive, about 2 cents a load for your laundry soap, there are issues with hard water and homemade laundry soap. And our water here is incredibly hard. And so I don't want to risk it, you ruining my washing machine or ruining my clothes. So I did that research and then I changed my mind. So the whole value added thing means that I'm going to go to Costco and I buy the store brand and I wait until it's like the $4 off per package. And that's when I stock up. Is it a little bit more expensive? Yeah. Would I do this if I had allergies or something to something in the laundry soap? Absolutely. So there definitely are reasons why you might want to make it. But let's talk a little bit more about the value added proposition with some of the other things that we're doing that we're prepping. Oh, I forgot. This is how I do my bleach. This is calcium hypochlorite. We've got an entire video on that. And the original reason why I had it was so that I could disinfect water in an emergency. The other thing is you can make a disinfectant to disinfect your countertops or your dishes or whatever, just like you would use bleach. And I make this because 1 pound package, I store it in this bottle, but a 1 pound package of the calcium hypochlorite costs less than $5. Well, I buy several of them at a time, right? And so it's that. So I think if you buy them singly, they're about $10. But this, to make this whole gallon, it only takes 6 tablespoons. And so you can see how cost effective that might be. And I put this in with my whites and it will bleach them. Is it as good as store bleach? No, it's not, but it does the job. And for me, that means that I keep this rotated. You have to be super careful when you store this because the chlorine does off gas even through the plastic lid on this bottle. So you have to store it really carefully, but that's one of the ways that I save money that I think is okay. We grow a huge garden. I can pick a gallon every few days when my raspberries are on. I mean, a big gallon, and they're so delicious. But if I were to buy those at the store, I would go broke because raspberries are so expensive. But for us, they're super easy to grow, and the yellow ones aren't available at the store. You can only buy the red ones, and we have a whole combination of them. So we buy, that, and we do black raspberries. How often do you see black raspberries at the store? Not very often. With this is freeze-dried garlic, and I have a whole video showing you when we made it. But we grow this garlic, and it's super, super cheap to grow, and it helps the other plants. And so there's all kinds of really good reasons why to do it. One thing that it doesn't make sense for me to grow on my own property is corn. And it might make sense for you, but it doesn't for me. Corn is a heavy feeder, and it needs a lot of water and a lot of space. And so for me, it's just not worth it when I can buy this can of corn for 50 cents. So every year when corn goes on sale, I stock up and get whatever I need for a year's supply of corn. And then I grow enough corn for eating fresh or for some of the fun Indian varieties that we have. Apples, we have apple trees. I make applesauce. There is no way you can find applesauce as good and as tasty as what we make at the store. You just can't. So that's one of the things you have to be able to do yourself. There are some things, I don't have a cow, and a cow for me doesn't make sense because I have a little property and I just don't have the ability to do that, and that sounds very time consuming. So I'll buy dry goods already done because that doesn't make sense to me to do. Now, would it be okay to swap raspberries for somebody who had a milk cow? Yeah. It would be. It would be just fine. Another thing that I was thinking about, okay, I can't grow sweet potatoes. My season's just too short. My father-in-law who lived here, he could do it, but I don't have the time and energy to babysit them just because of my climate. But can I grow butternut squash? Yes. So we buy sweet potatoes when they're on sale, especially during Thanksgiving and Christmas time. And then we'll put them in our storage and get us through the winter months. I make my own soap and salve. And the reason why I do that is because if I was just making soap just to make soap, I would definitely just buy this. I have it in our storage. But this soap has all kinds of medicinal herbs, and it has comfrey and all things that are really good for your skin, and it has some oils that you're not going to find in here. So for me, the value added in my soap, you bet. My salves, fantastic. And so you just kind of have to decide what really makes sense for you and what makes sense to buy, right? We've got the whole economies of scale thing where if I were to make a pencil, it's going to take me forever in time, right? But if I buy a pencil because somebody else is doing it and they can make so many of them, it only costs me about 10 cents. So which things make sense for you to produce on your own, and which things should you just go ahead and buy. And that's a really individual decision. I think the important thing is that we work toward being more self-reliant. If you live in an apartment and you can't grow anything, you're very much limited in what it is that you can do. But if you've got even just a little bit of land, you can grow some food, right? You can, if you look at some of the World War III Victory Garden series that we had, and some of the things that some of our viewers are doing, it's spectacular, even with just a small amount of land or a community garden plot. So for the question of the day today, what things do you think make sense for you to produce on your own property? And what things would be better for you to buy from somebody else? And remember, the whole community thing is so important. As we work together, we can all do better. So you don't have to be an expert in everything. So comment below, and thanks for being part of the solution.